What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 137. And today we are here with Jeffy O. Jeffy, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much, brother. You come highly recommended, dude.
Yes, sir.
We had Mark Ford on here, my childhood friend, dude. I've known Mark since it was probably like freshman, sophomore year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I've always followed his career and what he's doing with music. And when we had him on the pod, I was like, do you know anybody locally that we should get on? And you're the first name that popped up. Yeah. So thank you for stopping by, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you having us, man.
Of course. So for everybody that's not familiar with you, can you give us just a quick breakdown of who you are and what you do?
I am the owner of the Gutted Cigar. We dabble in everything from event management, artist management, just the management thing in general, you know, our focus on bringing our ideas to life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope, man. And I also see Chola Connoisseur.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up, man. So tell me a little bit about the Gutted Cigar. How did that come up?
Well, it started as a rap group, 5 MCs and a DJ about, I'd say, 10 years ago now. And we all kind of branched out and started doing our own things, and it went from us actually making music to, again, dabbling in all these different fields. There was no vision behind it. There was nothing like that. It just, again, one of those things that kind of happened.
Yeah.
One thing leads to another, you know, and it's been life ever since. So,
where did you guys start out at?
The Piru Fillmore area.
Okay, got you. So where were you born and raised at?
Piru.
Nice. Okay, cool. So this was about 10 years ago?
Yeah,
you said? So what at the beginning, what was kind of like the main idea of it? What did you see it becoming?
Well, again, we were more into the music thing. So it started off as, you know, again, when you come to Oxnard, Ventura, you have so many different, you know, entities running around and doing the music thing. There's very few on the other side of the 805.
Yeah.
So again, it was just a bunch of people that were kind of doing their solo stuff, but we just brought it all together. We're like, you know, there's no representation from the Piru Fillmore area as far as, you know, the hip hop world goes. So yeah. It just, again, it just stemmed into so much other stuff, but it started as, you know, a dream of just some kids making music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Mm-hmm. And you guys dabble in merch as well?
Yeah.
You brought me this dope ass Oxnard hat. Dude, I love this, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's actually from our partners from Irie Apparel.
Okay, cool. So, hell yeah, man. And that's where they sell your merch at.
Yeah.
Right?
That's who does all our merch, and they help with the event planning and everything. So it's like a whole team effort.
Nice.
So, shout out to Juan from Irie for always holding us down. That's one of the best people I know.
Hell yeah, man. Me being in the automotive community for 10 plus years, the community really lived online. Mm-hmm. Locally, there wasn't much people doing it, so any interactions I had were with people like, you know, in the Valley, in LA, and so on and so forth. So like everything that really goes down here in the 805, I don't really know much about it until I started doing the podcast, and then just start hearing these names pop up, man. I'm like, God, there's so much stuff going on out here, you know, so much creativity, dude. I'd love it.
You know, what's weird is, again, when we started throwing the shows and stuff, a lot of people were kind of like, what's in the 805? You know, we know that you guys got beaches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it became like a hot spot for hip hop. So we have people from San Diego and just all these, you know, surrounding cities and stuff that are just like, we need to make it to the 805. They make it a point to make their tour stops here and all that. And especially with people like Anderson .Paak and all these artists that are kind of like putting this place on the map. It's a beautiful thing, man. The life is really starting to flourish out here.
Yeah. And it's dope too, because I'm, you know, a rap hip hop fan ever since a child, you know, but ever since I got into the car community, that was like my main focus. And I listened to music here and there, but nothing really locally. So I've been ever since I connected back up with Mark, kind of keeping my ear to the street a little more, and there's a lot of talent out here for sure, definitely. Man. One guy that we're looking to have on the pod, another one of friends of Mark, is a Crooked One.
Oh, Crook. Yeah, I got mad love for Crook. That dude is so dope, man.
Yeah, we're scheduling it right now, man. I was watching some of his videos online, and I'm like, damn, this dude can spit. Do you feel it's hard to get noticed from being out here?
Not necessarily noticed, but again, like when we started off, it was very hard to get booked unless you were in that like little in crowd. You know what I mean? If you weren't from Ventura, Oxnard, it was just kind of out the question. You know? So again, that's one of the reasons we started throwing the shows, to kind of open the doors more for people outside of the county or people around here that aren't necessarily in that circle. And within the last 3-4 years, we worked with like 350 plus artists.
Wow.
So it's constant, man.
That's dope, man. So I want to get to all that, but I kind of want you to paint the picture for us. So tell me what it was like growing up in Fillmore, Piru area.
Again, as far as, being a dreamer, you had to leave. You couldn't sit in your hometown and make things happen there. There's no venues. There's no, nothing going on really. So I made my start in music doing shows in LA. Mm-hmm. So I was 16 years old, sneaking into clubs and helping these promoters move tickets to put money in my pocket. And, so yeah, I didn't feel like I really got my start in the 805, which oddly enough, there's a funny story behind it too. One of my business partners, we laugh about it these days, but when I was coming up, I was always reaching out to him. He was the guy throwing the shows. Yeah. And he would brush me off left and right, you know what I mean? And it wasn't until we started throwing the events and he saw what we were doing where he kind of came in. So shout out to homie Slimer from ASR, but he helps with our sound and all of that. So again, we don't have to outsource for DJs or sound equipment no more and stuff. And it's cool because they're the older cats that were throwing these shows for 20, 30 years before we even came around. So we get immersed the two age groups from, we work with the younger artists, people 20s and, 20s to 30s is like our age range. And then, they bring in the older acts. So when we blend those together, it's like the whole community comes out. There's something for everybody every time, But, I didn't necessarily make my start in the 805. We started throwing shows in LA and just branching out that way. So,
yeah. So what was it like as a child growing up out there?
I was really into the graffiti scene.
Really?
I got in a lot of trouble growing up. Music was like my outlet, my escape from all the craziness. I know everybody says that, like, music saved my life, but no, I really just put my focus into that and just left everything behind,
There's something about it, man. There's something about music. When I talk to people and they're not into music or they're just listening to it on a drive, I feel like they're missing so much.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so many different levels to music, and even some kind of artists where you wouldn't even think that they're talking about anything. If you actually break down the lyrics, then you kind of like, oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
So growing up, what were some of your influences in music?
In music, I was always, it sounds funny, but I was always inspired by like the people around me. You know what I mean? There's some artists from like the 805, like, I don't know if you're familiar with like Contra, Cap K, all the homies at the lab, Mike Bless, Epsilon Project, like J Pro and all these. So I was more inspired by the people that I saw around me doing it.
Got you.
I remember my homie DJ Tasco showing me a rap battle. It was like J Pro and I Suppose at the basement. And he's telling me like, yo, these guys, do events and stuff out here. So before I even thought of making music myself, I was coming around just to, get my feet wet, see what was going on out here. And I was just infatuated by it. You know what I mean? Like it's the whole culture of hip hop is just beautiful. And again, with the graffiti background, you're like, oh, wow, like they're incorporating it all. You know what I mean? So yeah, I fell in love with the culture of it. You know what I mean?
What's your earliest memory of like just getting hooked on it?
It was honestly, there was some artists out here that were like, making their little diss records back and forth. And
oh shit!
I remember they set up an event in Moore Park. It was at like a little pizza spot, and they were supposed to like battle. And I don't know, something happened, a fight broke out or something. So they ended up taking the event to the parking lot. And some of my like OGs like Philly Blunt and I don't know if you know I know you had him on the show, Hollow.
Yeah. Shout out to Hollow.
When I was a kid, before I was even rapping and whatnot, I remember them taking this event that was supposed to happen to the parking lot, and they're playing Philly Blunt beats out of Hollow's car. And there's just all these rappers just sitting around ciphering. And I'm just paying attention, like, wow, like these are all these people. And like now I look back and I'm like, these were J Pros and all these like notable names from the county. at the time I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, yo, people rapping, blah blah blah. But yeah, that was probably like the one that got me. That was the bug that bit me. You know what I mean? So
How old were you at that time?
it's probably like 15 years old.
How old are you now?
I'm 29.
Okay, 29. Okay.
So yeah. This was again pre-music era for me when I was just kind of like a fan. You know what I mean? So you got to start somewhere, and
Yeah.
those are the things that really kind of put the idea in my head. Is like, yo, this can, you know what I mean, be your thing.
Yeah, that's what helps out a lot when you see somebody that you're familiar with, or somebody from the same city, or somebody that just, looks like they live the same life that you do, and you see them doing something. It really motivates you to take it to the next level.
Definitely.
Because if you're a kid in Fillmore, Piru area, and you're watching, MTV or BET or whatever, that dream is just so out of here that there's no way that you can even connect the two dots.
Definitely.
But then if you see somebody locally and you're like, wow, this dude is really doing shows, then it kind of plants a seed, and you're like, hey, I can make this happen.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. So what kind of graffiti were you into? Were you doing like bombs and things like that? Or?
I mean, I would try.
Yeah.
I was never any good. I was more in it for like the adrenaline. I used to love to paint the freeways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, Piru Fillmore, there's not much to paint within the city, you know what I mean? So you had no choice but to go hit the freeways and scope out those billboards and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was my thing. I loved the rush. My homies were the talented ones. I was the one that was just like, let's go. You know what I mean?
The wild one. That's what's up. Did you ever get any trouble doing that?
Oh, yeah. I spent like my senior year of high school on trial for that.
No shit.
So yeah, that was not a proud moment of my life. You know what I mean? But
you live and you learn, man.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody has that inside of them, and they just get it out.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get it out at the right time, where there's not that many consequences to face.
Oh yeah. Well, while my friends were at prom and stuff, I'm just going through it. So
I never went to prom, and I didn't have any excuse besides I didn't have anybody to ask. That was my only excuse. That's dope, man. I love it, dude. So are you still out in that area now, or?
Oh, no. I'm actually staying out in Bakersfield these days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I bounce around pretty frequently.
How'd you end up in Bakersfield?
Honestly, just rent.
Yeah.
Cost of living is beautiful out there. So
No,
if you want to live in
definitely.
California and not struggle, move to Bakersfield, you know?
Yeah.
I just like the location for the most part. Is being in the central California, that you have the luxury of being able to go down south, go up north. You know, Vegas ain't too far out, so we make sure we span that area, you know, just.
Yeah.
But we primarily work out of Oxnard, so you know what I mean? But
Got you. So if you were to say today, what are the things that you're focused on? Is it the managing? Do you still do music, or?
I don't really make music much myself anymore, but what I like about it is that I'm able to apply stuff that I've learned while I was chasing that dream to help other people out. So that's where, again, with the event management really helps. I'm able to take people from here to different places and people from different places to here, and really get to see I guess where artists are at in their own career and things that they're going through. So again, we barely started it, but we picked up 2-3 artists that we're managing now. We started managing the models, and honestly, yeah, it's kind of like a more of a bringing ideas to life type of thing. You know what I mean? So we help people out when people have music videos they're trying to do, and they're like, I want to incorporate this. We're like, okay, we have resources for that now.
Got you.
You know what I mean? So it's like we use the contacts that we built up to again enhance other people's dreams, and I think that's the beauty of it. Is it's like you get to see it just unfold in front of you. You know what I mean?
Man.
So again, I started as a fan, and I'm gonna end as a fan. You know what I mean? So
that's good. So what is it that you look for in artists? Like, what is it that you can see in them to make you want to invest your time into them?
I really think it's I've just crossed paths with so many artists over the years. Again, I've seen 26 states in the U.S. Just off music when I was chasing that dream. So I've seen everything from like the imagery, what they're trying to present, to the content that they put up online, to the quality of the music. Like, there's just so many factors in an artist. So I think one for me is the marketability factor. But plus the work ethic, you know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense to be a talented person if you're not putting it to use, you know what I mean? So I think that's one thing that I look for is like, are you serious about this? And even when the way we set lineups for shows, like, if you're not really working, if you know what I mean, you can still get on the show, but we're gonna base the lineup based off what you're doing yourself. You know what I mean? So we want to celebrate the fact that people are actually putting the time in, but also we factor in the fact, you know, who people want to see, and you know, there's other variables in it. But yeah. So when we look for artists, we just look for who's doing what and what they're willing to do. You know, because again, there's a lot of artists that have a very good grind and they have something going for themselves, but they're always missing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we listen to them for the most part. Like, what is it you're trying to do? What are you trying to get out of this? What markets are you trying to attack? And yeah, just kind of help them on the business side. You know what I mean? So again, that's how me and Mark got so cool.
Yeah.
He's got so much going for him.
Yeah.
But he's constantly going, what can I do better? What can I do better? So we're able to connect on different projects and stuff like that. So shout out to Mark. Like, that dude's going places, you know?
Yeah, he's extremely talented.
Definitely.
And he's always been, you know, ever since high school times, like when we used to skate together, like he was always doing crazy ass tricks that no one was even doing, you know?
Yeah.
And he was always just so easy to talk to, and just he had an opinion, and he would stick with it, dude. And I've always liked that about him. And I was just watching one of the videos that he did with Crook, and dude, that video is sick, man. His videography is insane, dude.
Yeah,
for sure. And I could just see that, like, a video teamed up with a hungry artist with a great song, and that's the recipe to blow up for sure.
And that's an important factor. Again, on the video side of things, is that's, as artists, you know what I mean, the game is constantly changing, and we live in a very visual era, so it's important to have quality videos and things like that. So Mark is always ahead of the curve when it comes to dropping. You know, not only is he dropping quality videos, but he's consistent with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, shout out to Mark again. He's one of like the pride and joys of the county, you know?
Definitely, man. So when you say marketability, what do you look for in the artists as far as that wise?
Everybody has something. It really, you can't really pinpoint it, but some people have it, some people don't, and some people are just trying to find it, you know? I guess it's a look or just the energy that they bring to the room, you know what I mean? Like, you can just tell when you meet somebody, you're like, okay, there's something special about you, you know what I mean? And I guess that answer changes by the person, you know?
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, there's really no answer for it. It's just, you know, I've seen people get a face tattoo, and that's their thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it really depends on you as the person, the artist, what market you're trying to attack. But yeah, again, I've seen so many artists just have one little thing that just, you know, puts them ahead of everybody. And it's beautiful, but at the same time, it's like, that's the constant struggle of an artist, is trying to find that it. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not doing the artist thing anymore, but one of the things is nowadays my hair. I was bald my entire life, so
oh really?
I grew my hair out. Now I'm more approachable.
Yeah.
Now I'm easier to point out in a room. It's just like, that's the thing. So I'm like, I can't get rid of the hair right now because that's what people know me by now, you know?
How long you been growing it for?
A little over 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn,
I'm actually going to donate it eventually, but...
That's what's up, man. Hell yeah. I've tried to grow out my hair, and it doesn't work, dude. You get to that point where it's just... You wake up one day and you're like, dude, I need to get a fucking cut. I'm over it.
Yeah, bro. I get stuck in so much different stuff. There's a low-hanging tree right outside of my house, and every time I walk through the yard, I just get caught in this tree.
And I can't grow a beard for shit either, dude. It's 2020, man. Somebody has to come up with some type of technology to give me a damn Rick Ross beard.
Hey, if you could figure it out, you'll be a millionaire.
Right? So what did you feel like that stopped you from pursuing your music career?
There wasn't anything that stopped me. It was I think I just kind of lost the love for it. You know what I mean? What it was I left Cali right as soon as I graduated high school. I just packed up and I left, and my goal was to backpack to New York. I just fit whatever I could fit in my car and just left.
Wow.
And I stopped in Louisiana, and I have a bunch of family and friends out that way. So I stopped there. I threw a show. Through another show, and it just started going. And that's really where I like found the love for throwing events. But while I was there, I ended up linking with a little indie label, Logo Musico, which they're still my family to this day, but they were more on the commercial side of things. I do more of the underground hip hop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So linking with them was where I really got like a lot of my knowledge for a lot of things. Like prior to this, I had never done like the South by Southwest thing or the 83C or any of these major festivals or even traveling. Like most of my traveling was done with them. And it was cool, but at the same time, I really started to see what it was like to have a manager and to not be able to do the things you wanted to do and you just working on somebody else's, say. And I think that's kind of what killed it for me.
Yeah.
So that's something I apply when I manage artists is like, yo, I don't want to do that to you.
Give them a little more
You
freedom.
know what I mean? Yeah, and it's just, it was fun, but it was also very, very draining, I guess you can say, you know what I mean? And yeah, as an artist or just a creative in general, like you just want to be able to create at your own,
Yeah.
on your own time. And that was the one where I was like, yo, this is no longer fun. This is a job. Like this is just like working at Walmart or something. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like you're like I can't do what I want to do. So yeah, that was kind of what like not necessarily killed it for me, but it slowed me down a lot. The whole time I was with them, I was never able to drop an album. I was never able to throw certain events. Like I love to do the community oriented stuff. So when they told me, oh, you can't throw a toy drive for the kids, I'm like, this is you know what I mean? Like it fucked me up. It really got me. But it was a good experience. It's definitely something that people need to experience because I think every artist's main goal is to sign with a major, sign with a label, and have representation, a team behind you pushing you. But yeah, it's a different ballgame when you get into that field.
Especially when people start messing with your creativity, man. Have you always been a creative person?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Always. That's again like I have so much energy. I need to apply it somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
what are some of the other things that you dabble in besides music?
well, music always was the basis of it, but in that time when I was making music, it got me into dabbling in like web design, graphic design. I did the photography, videography, just all these different elements that applied to music, so music was always the heart of it, but all the stuff surrounding it, like at one point I felt like I was a one-man team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's just like, again, when you spread yourself so thin and take on so much work, you can't really perfect, each and every one. It's like one's always going to outshine the other. And so again, even to this day, I still mess with it all, but I don't pride myself in it. You know what I mean? Like that's just something that I'll do, for my mental state. You know what I mean? When you get tired of one thing, move on to the next thing, and just kind of,
Do you ever hit like creativity blocks where you're just...
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and there's honestly no way around that. You're gonna hit them here and there, you know what I mean? And but that was like the beauty of balancing so many different stuff. Like I'm sure you know this. Like you get tired of working on a car, you're like, oh cool, I'm just gonna go do a podcast.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's definitely refreshing to not have to be focused on one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm always looking for more hobbies just because when that does happen, then I have something else that I could lean on, like doing puzzles or something. I don't know, man. If you guys have any cool hobbies besides, cars or music or anything like that, let me know because I'm always trying to do something different. I feel the same way, man. I have to be doing something at all times. And sometimes it's to a fault as well. I can't really just chill out. And I'll tell my wife, I just want to relax today. And she's like, you never relax. Like, even when we're home chilling, like, you're always just doing something.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would like to just switch it off, not feel like I have to do something at all times. But it's a gift and a curse for sure, man. So when you graduated high school, you wanted to go on this road trip. What made you want to do that?
Well, it was not right after high school. After high school is when the Gutted Cigar started moving as a crew. But it was when I got to college. I graduated college and...
Oh, nice. Where'd you go?
The LA Recording School.
Okay.
So as soon as I got finished with that, I was living in North Hollywood at the time. I was living in like a overpriced, roach infested apartment complex, and I was just like, I'm not happy here. Like, so I just as soon as my lease was up, I got up and left. You know, and the goal was just to backpack to New York. You know what I mean? I was like, I got to see what else is out there instead of just, you know, getting another apartment or, you know, anything like that. I was just like, you know what, just let's see what else is out there. So I definitely took that risk, but the reward was beautiful. You know what I mean? And again, living in California with these with this rent and stuff, it's impossible to save. So I was able to travel the country and actually stack up money in the same time, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I'm never able to do it. You know, in California, you're like, I could go on a vacation once, twice a year.
You go to Vegas.
But, you know, living in the South for a little bit, I was like, yo, I can actually, you know. I lived in Lafayette, Louisiana, so I was about 3 hours from Houston, 5 from Dallas, 3 from New Orleans, 9 from Atlanta. So everything was like right here. You know what I mean? So
dude. That's a dope area right there, man.
So again, with the shows and stuff, I was very fortunate enough to rock some amazing events and share stages with, you know, artists like Post Malone before he popped off, and Migos, and you know what I mean? And I'm not from that world, from the commercial rap world, so it was new to me to have to try to make music that fit that category. And again, with the management, they're like, if you don't follow our word, we're not pushing you. So again, they had me doing stuff I didn't want to do. But again, I think I needed that, because again, it showed me a lot. So I'm able to apply a lot of the stuff that I learned on the road, especially again the event planning stuff really helped me open my mind to different kinds of music. Because I don't know if you're familiar with like the jig music and stuff coming out of Louisiana. But man, that's a different world down there, man.
What are some examples of artists?
Let me think.
'Cause I dig down south rap.
Well,
for
see,
sure.
I love like the Houston down south raps, like the UGK and stuff like that. But no, they're on that like biggity like twerk music.
Okay.
So a lot of like the artists that I would book I wasn't necessarily a fan of them, but I had to open my mind to be able to be like, yo, you know, I might not like it, but other people would.
Is that kind of like Drake, Nice for What, like that kind of style?
No, it's straight twerking music, like just heavy drums, and I don't know. Yeah, that's like twerking is part of like the New Orleans culture.
Gotcha.
You know, we see it as like, oh, you know, shaking ass, but no, they take that serious.
Back that ass up.
Yeah, like if you date it back even prior to hip hop, people were doing that in New Orleans, in that area. So again, getting to see that side of things, and then I mean, music is so widespread now that, you know, you still had your boom bap hip hop out there. You still had your, you know, your southern rap, your trap music. Like, there's just so many different genres.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got out there that I was able to break that stubborn hip hop head mentality. And
that you had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I grew up around, you know, stubborn hip hop heads to tell you, you know, no doing this, no doing that, no rapping over your vocals, no blah blah, you know what I mean? So I had all these like little rules that I would abide by, and going down there, like, I ain't gonna lie, like at first it was very hard. It was very hard to be like, you're not doing it right, or no, my people would make fun of you for this. But
where's your backpack?
exactly
Go get your Jansport now.
So yeah, so shout out to Louisiana as a whole. I consider that place like my home away from home.
Fuck,
you know?
yeah.
So
that's what's up, man. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, man. And that's kind of one thing that really turns me off from like underground music, because it seems so cliquey, and anything else that's like, you know, popping on the radio or whatever, that's automatically out of here. We don't fuck with that, you know? But at one time, that person was doing the same shit. You know, rapping on the corner, getting small shows, opening up for free. You know, they're doing the same thing, but, you know, something happened that switched them over. Yeah. And it's just, it puts you in such a box, you know? And I don't like that part of it. But as far as like the music wise of it, I'll listen to whatever, man. I love listening to underground stuff that, you know, you bring up a name, you're like, you know, hey, do you listen to Little Hamster? Who's that? And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it.
shout out Little Hamster.
Shout out to Little Hamster, dude. But I just love music all around, man. So when you were in Louisiana, what kind of influence did like Wayne have out there?
Oh, he's that's the
king,
the house, yeah. But I mean, you had your little Boosies who was held in high regard.
Oh, really?
the little Snoops, rest in peace.
Rest
You
in
don't.
peace.
That's like their Tupac. You don't go to Louisiana and diss Lil Snoop.
That's crazy because thinking about it, if you were to hear Little Snoop, you'd think he's from Philly area.
Yeah,
But
because Meek Mill put him on.
yeah.
But he, yeah, I mean, that's just one of those names you don't disrespect them. And then again, it depends on what region you're in, because if you go up to like the New Orleans area, Currency and them are still killing it out there.
Got you.
So they do like the Jet Lounge at the House of Blues every Wednesday. So I mean,
really?
For local artists, like you can roll up and showcase for, you know what I mean, their A&R and stuff. So
Yeah,
that's really dope. That's stuff that we don't have in California. There's so much going on here that it's hard to link with, you know, all these people and do these certain things. But yeah, in the South, they're constantly looking. So again, it's very easy to take over that entire state. If you really wanted to, and you connect with the right people, you can be the next big thing out of Louisiana. Like so much easier. So
yeah.
to all the artists that think I just need to get to California and then I'm set. Like no, you're gonna come here and it's just you're gonna join the oversaturation. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like,
Did you spend any time in Atlanta?
yeah. I got a lot of folks out in Atlanta.
Really?
We actually brought quite a few. Well, we brought a couple artists from Atlanta out to California in recent years.
Yeah.
So shout out to homie Shred, Rogue Dynamo, everybody out there moving. They got a dope scene out there.
Dude, that's my shit, bro.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me today, my music taste gears way more towards Atlanta music.
Oh, they're
than
running
anything.
shit right now too.
Yeah.
There's so many dope artists coming out of that area. There's a lot of people moving to Atlanta specifically for that.
I have a feeling that Atlanta is going to be the next Hollywood.
Oh, for sure.
Music wise, it's already there. And then as far as like movies and production and things like that, Tyler Perry, he just opened up his compound out there, and from what I hear, that place is unbelievable.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Same with like Austin, Texas. That's another big one for music. You know, especially around like the South by Southwest time and stuff like that. That changed my life. That South by, like, yeah.
Yeah, I hear Austin is the #1 city to live in.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about South by Southwest. I've been very curious about that, but I've never been before. But it seems like I don't know if it is now, but that was like the hub for new music and new artists coming out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You know, even before the festival takes place, they'll drop these pamphlets saying like these are the artist spotlights, and they'll have the artist schedule. So when we did it, like Post Malone was one of the names on there. So he was one of the ones that you're like, you need to either get on a show with him or go check him out. And these are all the dates that he has and locations. But Austin is pretty much just two big streets. You have like, I believe it's 16th and 17th, where it's just club. And there's just free shows going on everywhere.
Oh, they're free?
They're all free.
No way.
I mean, you'll find like the bigger, like I know like Wu-Tang did something out there while we were there. But that was like a bigger like amphitheater type show. But they'll start early, so there'll be shows like just shared venues, you know. So there'll be a show from 12 to 3 at a certain venue, and then once that one's done, 3 to 6, there's a different show. You know what I mean? But these venues are just trading off and just going around. So we were lucky enough to do it was the Jet Life Taylor Gang Showcase. So we rocked with Post Malone, Joyner Lucas, who else was on that? Chevy Woods, which is one of Wiz Khalifa's artists. We did another one with like Migos, and I can't think of the dude's name. Remember the Bitch You Guessed It guy? The fucking trap.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I forget. I know what you're talking about.
But it was an experience for me, because again, even like throughout this, you'll just see people in the streets campaigning. So you'll run into just all these people that you're familiar with, all these big artists and just media platforms. Like I know we ran into like Nardwuar out there.
No
you
shit.
know what I mean? Just walking down the street type stuff. So you can definitely go out there and market yourself. You'll see people running around with like life-size cutouts of themselves, like, hey, this is me, this is what I do, rapping on the corners and stuff, just trying to showcase any way they can. So for a whole like week or however long the festival is, it's just chaos, just constant chaos.
Wow.
And it's amazing though. It's definitely an experience. It's probably one of the coolest like showcases that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And Austin's just an amazing city. All the clubs are really dope. I know that was like the first time I rode a mechanical bull out there. You know what I mean? I was just wilding out like, this is amazing, you know? So
yeah,
coming from Little Pyru, you don't see stuff like that. So,
yeah, definitely. So when's the first time that you went out there?
Was for South by.
Yeah. What year was that?
2015, I believe.
Got
Something
you.
like that. So,
And how many times have you been since then?
that was the only.
Really?
But see, that's what I'm planning on now. Is I'm trying to take some of my artists out there.
Fuck yeah,
and because I
dude.
built so many contacts out there and stuff, it's just like it's been meaning to happen. I just been waiting on the right move to make happen.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't go to South by unless you're prepared. Make sure you have stuff to pass out. Make sure you know what I mean. You have all your feet in the right place. Because again, one night there can change your whole life forever. You know.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's still gonna have the same energy as 2015, or do you think
for
things
sure.
have changed?
No, that's what it is. You know what I mean? People know that is just it as far as music goes. As far as the new music, again, we did a show with Post Malone, and he performed that White Iverson song.
Yeah.
And he's from Texas, so you got to see the entire crowd sing that word for word.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until like exactly a year later that song actually hit the radio. So it was kind of like trippy in a sense. You're like, it really showed you how long it takes for a record to really take off. He was probably sick of that song by the time it even hit the radio. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like that was definitely it was definitely an experience. And I guess as a creative in general, like you just need to go witness it. Even on some graffiti stuff, they have that big old graffiti park right there in downtown Austin. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot going on. It's just a lot to soak in.
When is it?
It changes, but I think it's around February, March of every year. So yeah,
Dude, I would love to go out there, man.
Definitely.
For sure. I don't do any music or anything like that, but just being around creative people and just getting that energy.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I think that would be awesome. I always see what goes on there, you know, like on World Star or what, you know, No Jumper, things
you know,
like
it's funny.
that.
One of the shows we did, it was, I don't know if you're familiar with BMF, you know, Big Meech.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the younger generation, one of the shows we did, they decided to jump one of the show hosts.
Oh, shit.
So they jumped this guy in the middle of the show, and everybody's filming and stuff. Well, the video that I seen that hit World Star, there was a dude standing next to me, you know, with his camera and stuff. I didn't know it was anybody special, but it ended up being the dudes from Vlad TV.
Oh, no way.
So, you know what I mean? It was just kind of weird. Like, yo, me and this dude rubbing shoulders all night, and I didn't realize that. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those type of like environments where it's like everybody's there for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even as fans, you're there to see who you're there to see. You know what I mean? So like, if you just walk around and talk to people, they'll tell you who's doing what, who's, you know, who to look out for, what like private parties are going on and things like that you need to check out. And it's just, it's a beautiful thing, man. The energy all around is just amazing. So, again, applying stuff like that I seen like in my travels and bringing it home was like, that was it. You know what I mean? That was the formula. It was like, yo, we are stuck on a format here. And nobody wants to be the guy to break that format.
Yeah.
So when we came out, we just came out swinging, like, and it just worked. You know what I mean? So,
dude, that's rad, bro. I've always wanted to go out there. Now, speaking of Vlad TV, what like hip hop music media outlets do you frequent?
I'll pay attention to all like the Hot 97 stuff, the Breakfast Club, Vlad TV. Honestly, it really depends on the content. Like,
Got you.
If I'm a fan of the artist, or just even the way they spin it, like when you watch Vlad TV interviews, they're like, oh, so and so talks about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I may not know who the person is, but the topic is something I'm interested in. So I try to pay attention to what's going on.
Do you watch Adam 22 No Jumper?
Yeah.
Sick. And then what about the Joe Budden podcast?
Not really.
Really?
But I used to pay attention when he was on like Everyday Struggle and stuff
Gotcha,
like that.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I grew up around a bunch of quote unquote Joe Buddens, you know what I mean? So I've heard that conversation a million times, just, you know.
Well, what's dope is about the Joe Budden podcast versus Everyday Struggle is Everyday Struggle was him bullying academics the whole time, and now he like gets bullied by his friends, which is dope, man. It's good to see that side of it, but I love to get their input on whatever's going on in the community.
Definitely.
Breakfast Club as well, and I've really been into Adam 22 lately because I feel like maybe our paths are a little more similar than anybody else, you know, because he started out in like just the biker community and then started a podcast with just bikers, and then, you know, just started getting some artists on, and then it started going more towards that way, you know. And I feel the automotive community is way bigger than the bike community is,
for sure,
you know. So that's where my grind's at, you know. Not to be like him, but just to be able to sit down with artists that I like their music, that I'm interested in what they have to say, and that we could provide a platform for them.
See, that's one thing I like about Adam 22 is he works with artists that he likes. It's not necessarily the big names.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, you know what I mean, people he's trying to put on. It's just if he floats with you, he floats with you. And I really appreciate that, like those kind of platforms, you know what I mean?
So, yeah, definitely, man. It's a lot more genuine and raw, and you kind of just figure out who these people are. And I've been put on to so many rappers that I would have probably never even listened to because of that podcast.
Definitely.
So what are you listening to now?
I like a little bit of everything. Honestly, I stay really busy scouting rappers. So, you know what I mean? I find a lot of up and coming music. Like there's a cat named Ozer coming out of the Bay right now. That's something that I'm really feeling. But I'm also a fan of, like, again, the Puyas, the Suicide Boys.
Gotcha.
I like the more backpacker stuff, stuff that we hear from artists on the shows, and yeah, like one of my things is I don't really listen to music as heavy as I used to. You know what I mean? And like even in the car, like I've just heard everything at these shows. I've heard everything, like as far as promoting stuff online. Sometimes I just get in the car and it's just dead silence. I'm like, you know, we just cruising our thoughts today, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like a little bit of everything, you know. Soul and oldies is my thing, though. You know what I mean?
What's that?
Soul and oldies.
Oh, okay. Got you.
I listen to more oldies than I do hip hop, and I'll gladly admit that. I used to dig for samples, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing.
Those are the best samples right there, for sure. Do you listen to Xavier Wolf?
A little bit. I can't really say I've dug too deep into his catalog, but what I have heard from him, he's really dope.
Yeah, he's from Memphis, and then he moved out here to Hollywood, but he really has that kind of like Memphis sound to his music, and he's a car guy as well.
Dope.
So I fuck with him a little more heavy than I probably would because of just that car aspect, you know, just having everything.
And again, they kind of go hand in hand, you know what I mean? Again, it's not uncommon to see hip hop acts at a car show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's beautiful. Like that's where I feel like we're at now that, you know, we came into this whole like festival setting. Like a regular show just doesn't cut it anymore. You need to incorporate as much as you can. Like even with our shows, we incorporate the modeling, like the fashion shows, to the live art, to the different vendors. I like to think of it as like a swap meet with performances. You know what I mean? So. Again, like I can definitely see how the car show would play a big part in hip hop, especially because, you know, once a rapper gets their first check, where are they going?
Fly ass car, bro. Yeah, hell yeah, man.
So I like to see Tyler the Creator's a big car person, you know.
Yeah.
What I mean? So
my wife, she works at BMW Rusnak, and nice. They had one of his BMWs in there not long ago.
Dope.
Yeah, it's dope, man. It really does seem like that, like the car community, the skateboard community, bikers, like all the kind of alternative things, it's all in its own universe. And then the dudes that like played sports is just over there.
yeah
I never really meet people that played sports when they were growing up, you know.
I used to play sports.
Really?
I have a bad shoulder from it, from
baseball. You were a pitcher or what?
Yeah
Oh shit.
I had a nasty curve, and coaches used to take advantage of that without proper conditioning, and there's some days that I can't even move my neck from it.
No shit.
So, like, yeah, even last night I got some, like, you know, certain rubs and stuff. Now that the cold weather's here, I'm like, I need to take care of this shoulder, you know.
Really? So they were putting you on even when you were hurt? Wow. You know, I was watching the Aaron Hernandez documentary. Have you seen that yet?
I tried to get through it.
Yeah, it's a rough one, man. And when they were talking about how they would give them some sort of shot. I'm not sure what the shot was called, but it was before they would play. If they have any injuries, they give them a shot, and then they'll be able to play through it.
It's like a steroid or something.
Something like that, you know. And it's just like, dude, their health is not a concern
Yeah.
at all. The concern is just winning by any means necessary.
The hole in his brain, like,
Yeah,
they're showing
dude.
all that. They're saying he had like a brain of like a 90-year-old or something.
Yeah,
Like, that's,
the CTE, man, that shit's no joke.
yeah, definitely.
And that's something that they're trying to cover up, the NFL, because man, I guarantee so many of those football players have it and have had it since a kid. I was watching the show that they had on Netflix with Snoop Dogg. He like coaches Pee-wee football or something like that, and these kids are maybe like 10, 12, 14 years old, and dude, they're head-to-head contact, and kids are getting hurt, and you're just like, man, that's not right, dude, because these kids are still growing. Your brain's not fully developed till like your mid-20s.
And I'm sure I have a hole in my brain just from hitting my head on a cabinet. I can only imagine. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, man, but that's cool though, dude. I'm really intrigued with like the music side of stuff, because that's something I've always been infatuated with. Now, how do you feel about the new change of music, like quote unquote mumble rapper style?
I like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna say like I've never heard a song and been like, this ain't catchy. I don't see why people like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, when I personally write, I like to put like my thoughts down. Like, I don't like to just put some words on paper. But at the same time, sometimes you're in the mood for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you just need that background music. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And,
definitely.
I can see why kids like it, and I'm not gonna just dismiss it because it's not all for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I think there's a couple artists that have just like really stood out. I wouldn't even put them in the mumble rap category, but
Yeah.
they just they get labeled that, and it's.
I guess it's like the new age
Yeah.
of music.
But I mean, it's just the same way as like when hip hop started coming around. All the people who listen to rock music, like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? The content is all the same. If you really pay attention, like, they're all inspired by the same stuff. They're all talking about the same stuff. They're just putting their own twist to it. So
what are some artists that you fuck with?
in the mumble rap type,
Yeah.
or mumble rap. I don't like to say that word because
It's like a derogatory term,
you
huh?
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't really pull artist names. I'm so bad with names.
Yeah.
Let's see, somebody we like. I like Dot Demo, but he's very good at finding that balance between the hip hop type stuff to the more mumble rap type stuff. But he packages it together. He's coming out of Brooklyn, I think.
Okay.
Like, I really like the whole new New York movement, like the Joey Badasses and the who else is on there? Like the ASAP Mob, you know. So you got like ASAP Ferg, who's more, I guess you could say he's not really mumble rap, but he's more into like the new age sound.
Definitely.
Where, as far as like Rocky and some of the cats that he works with, like the content just varies, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I can't really pull some off the top of my head, but there's a lot out there, man. Again, even that cat that I brought up earlier, Ozer, coming out the Bay, like, he's really dope, but it's not something that my friends, my older hip hop friends would listen to. You know what I mean? But I love it. You know what I mean? His production is amazing. His content's amazing. His delivery, he's very well rounded.
You listen to Young Thug?
Not really.
Really?
I've heard a couple songs that I'm like, I'm not gonna say I don't like it. You know what I mean? But I haven't really dove into the catalog enough to say I'm a fan or not.
I would definitely recommend that for sure. That's one of my favorite artists right now. Yeah, Young Thug. And I can totally see why people, if they just first hear him, that they don't fuck with him. But he's awesome, dude.
Actually, what's his name? I like the way he carries himself, but the baby.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Like, that dude just refuses to take an L anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, life is just testing him, and he's like just handling that, and just very level-headed. He just seems like a stand-up dude.
Definitely.
And his music's not bad. You know what I mean? I like a lot of his music, and so I'm like, it's cool to see cats like that. And I hate that the culture that I grew up around is quick to dismiss it. You know what I mean?
By just a name.
Yeah, they don't understand it.
The
so
baby,
like,
no.
Yeah, so
but
like,
I don't think you're even allowed not to like the baby, because it'll probably fuck you up. That dude is intimidating, man.
Yeah, he's killing it.
He's
man.
dope, man. Yeah, and that's just another guy to show you, like, you can either just take your time and build, or you can just do 3 shows a fucking night and just keep killing it. You know, I had a guest on here, and he put it so well. He's like, if you want to get to the point where you're gonna be at in 10 years, in 3 years, you have to do 3 times the amount of stuff in one single day.
Yeah.
So if one day you're going to do a podcast, and then after this, you know, you go have a meeting with an artist, you know, you have to do like 3 podcasts, 3 meetings. And you think about it like, dude, that's so much. But once you condition yourself to taking on that workload and understanding how much time you really do have in the day, like, you're going to need more opportunities than anything. Like, I'm always ready to go. Like, if somebody has something that we got to do or something, I'll make sure that I fit it in, because I understand that formula. The more things that you're able to take care of, that's just going to put you further down the line. And how I look at life is like on a linear scale, you know. We'll all start at different paths or different parts on the scale, but that, just because this person is way ahead of you, that doesn't mean that their grind is the same as yours. So when their grind is moving slow and slow because they're already ahead, if your grind is 3 times, dude, you're going to pass them in no time. Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be back in 1 minute.
Yo, what's up, fool? Make sure you check out Downstar for all of your dress-up needs. Get it poppin' over here. We have all the kits for the K series, the B series, the transmission, the mounts, the engine, the Toro, baby. We have the hardware for the seats, for the stereo. We got it for the speakers. We got it for the lug nuts. We got it for the air valves. We got it for everything, dog. So you make sure you hit us up at downstarinc.com, or you call us up, fool. You can even text us, lame, 818-937-3472. Just shoot us a text and tell us what's up, dog. I need some fucking balls in this bitch. Hit us up, downstaring.com. Hey, and if you got an Instagram, slide in our fucking DM at Downstar. Wait, hit up the homie, Frank_Downstar. He's the one that takes care of all the DMs. Hit that level up and shoot him a message, and he'll get you all taken care of real nicely.
And again, I think having such a solid team around me kind of enables me to do that. But at the same time, I'm a control freak. When I'm in charge, I'm like, it has to be done like this. You know what I mean? So when we're working on a project that I curated, it's like just run it how I like it, and then it opens me up to be able to do more. You know, and when I don't have to take on that workload alone.
Definitely.
And then when we tackle some of their ideas and their concepts, it's again, we run it how they want it ran, and it's just, it saves you a lot of stress, a lot of time, but it also opens you up to be able to move around, so you're able to take on more work. And I think that's the beauty of having a team behind you. But I mean, if you can juggle that on your own, you know what I mean, like they say, if you want something done right, do it yourself, you know what I mean. So again, I guess it really depends on how you work, you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Now, another artist, you listen to Lil Peep?
I did. There was a couple tracks that, you know, I really liked that sound though. Yeah. I liked how hip hop became more harmonic. People were like singing and just, I don't know, dabbling in different stuff, but I like that emotional rap too.
Hell
I like
yeah,
that,
dude.
those songs that can make you cry, and then, you know, the next one up, but it's just gonna put a big smile on your face, and then you're right back to crying again. You don't know why this whole. So I like artists that can again, they're very well rounded, and they understand like music is an emotion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's my number 2 right there, Lil Peep. Rest in peace, man. I have a playlist that I made on Spotify or on SoundCloud, which is just like a lot of underground tracks and things like that. I'm gonna send you the link, dude, because I really feel like Peep is one that's slept on, especially from, you know, older heads, that when they hear like a little or they hear the name, that automatically shuts it off in their head.
Definitely. But did you get a chance to check out the new Mac Miller album?
I haven't, dude. You know what? I never got into Mac Miller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I feel like that so many people are into him, and there's a lot that I'm missing. But I just haven't spent the time. But I'm definitely down for that for sure.
That's one of the things. Speaking of Little Peep, I feel like Mac started, right before his passing is when he really started to come into the artistry, or he was now an artist. He was no longer a rapper. You know what I mean? He started singing more. His production got better. I don't know. I feel like had he had a couple more years, you would have really seen the full, scale of his journey.
Dude, all sad situations all around.
Definitely.
And even to go to like X, it's all unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely.
That's like when we were younger. If like Jay-Z would have died at his peak. These guys had so much, and they were just tapping into it. And it's just a shame.
Definitely.
One of the reasons I really gravitate towards Little Peep is because he really did that mashup perfectly of hip hop and like pop punk kind of as well. Were you ever into any of that scene?
I want to say that I was like a huge fan of it, but again, it's those artists, like out of newer artists, Peep was one of the ones that I actually checked out. X was another one, you know what I mean? He incorporated that very well. I don't know, don't know what genre you would label it as.
Yeah,
because you can put that in, again, like the punk scene, like pop scene, like it would fit very well in there. You know what I mean? So it just really depends on I guess the market, wherever you're gonna push it. But
did you ever grow up in like that rock punk scene though?
Not really. I mean,
No.
I'm more I like easy listening music. So even when I do listen to rock, it's more like classic rock and soft rock, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I have my songs and stuff. And I know like a lot of the homies do it. From the Nardcore scene to the homies out in Bakersfield. There's a big like punk scene in Bakersfield. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I gravitated a lot more towards like the Warped Tour side
dope.
of music. My first Warped Tour ever was Warped Tour 2000. I think I was like 15 or so at that time, and I ended up going for maybe like 10 years straight. Dope. And that was such an amazing experience, man. Some of those artists, like my childhood lives in those albums. Newfound Glory, The Youth, Census Fail, Chiodos. I love that stuff, man.
Dope.
And sometimes when I get tired of listening to rap and hip hop, I'll go to that, and it's like, whoa, I'm a kid again.
But see, it was festivals like that changed the music scene.
Definitely.
Again, these regular shows just don't cut it no more. Like, again, when you go to something like that, it's the whole experience. You remember like the Pay Dues and the Rock the Bells, and we actually just linked up with the Happiness of Pursuit Festival out in Ontario, and I feel like they're gonna be the next big thing. So I know the last one we did, you had who was on the last one? They had Havoc from Mobb Deep. R.A. the Rugged Man was on there. There's just too many to name. And the one before that was like Sick Jackin', and you know what I mean? So like they're gradually growing, and shout out to the homie 60 East. Like that dude had a vision. He started as a rapper. I mean, he's still rapping, but he was fortunate enough to go on a bunch of tours with a bunch of big names and stuff, and now he's throwing his own festivals, and he put all the homies who throw shows on. So all the people working these events are people who throw shows out in LA and San Diego and so on and so forth, and they all just come together, and it's amazing. That energy is amazing. There's so much going on. Like it's just, I think it's a visual stimulant to see not only the music, but you see all the vendors and just stuff going on, and it's like, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, you feel at peace. So the Warped Tour was that. You know what I mean?
I never thought about it, man, but Warped Tour could definitely be like the foundation for all of these, these Coachellas and things like that. Because before it, I can't think of anything besides like Lollapalooza and Woodstock, but I don't even know where the times, maybe which one was even before. I know Woodstock was before, but as far as how festivals are ran today, that's it's a Warped Tour blueprint. Everything is, from having different stages to this stage sponsored by this person or that person, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. It's just like that's where it came from for sure.
And I wouldn't even say like Warped Tour wasn't the first, you know what I mean? But again, that stuff really changed the game. As far as throwing events, like even as a promoter, people will tell you like, yo, unless you're gonna throw a festival, avoid April to June because that's festival season. You know what I mean? There's just constant, everything's going on and there's stuff popping up. And again, now that the cannabis world is doing the same thing, those are essentially festivals themselves. So it's just it's dope to see, but at the same time, it's making everybody work a little harder. You can't just, slap a show together and just have the homies out at the bar anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you have to incorporate something different.
Do you feel like there's going to be some kind of bubble that's going to pop or something that is going to make these festivals not attractive anymore, such as like, Rock the Bell or Rolling Loud, Coachella, like the tickets just being like $500 to go to them?
No, I think what it's gonna do is it's gonna start pushing. It's gonna start pushing promoters to start throwing more festivals, but keeping them affordable.
Yeah.
So like even like Thought Fest, like that would easily be $100 ticket, but they're charging $20 pre-sale, and then it gradually goes up. But I think it caps at like $35 tops. You know what I mean? And it's dope to see, but that's one of the things that you see and hear from the people who go. They're like, yo, keep it affordable, keep it reasonable. Don't try to make it the next Warped Tour or, Rock the Bells or whatever. They're like, it's so genuine right now.
Yeah.
It's still very like a underground vibe, but at the same time, like, you don't really factor in the fact that there's over 2,000, 3,000 people here right now. You know what I mean? It's still a big party. You know what I mean? But
yeah. I think that's one thing that really made me fall in love with Warped Tour. It was like $30 a ticket. And it's not like you're seeing bullshit acts there. You're seeing like the biggest bands ever that are on, K-Rock or MTV or whatever the outlet was at that time. You're watching them for $30. And then, granted, you got to wait all day, but it's all good. It was just such a great part of my childhood. And even at the last Warped Tour, which was maybe 2 years ago, I ended up taking my my wife and my son and my sister and my nephew, and me and my buddy TJ, who I always go to concerts with him. We took my son and my nephew into the mosh pit for the Used. And it's just like for them to be able to experience that before it went away, it was like priceless, dude. It was so awesome, man.
See, and those are the memories that stick with you. You know what I mean? Now, tell me about a time that you went to a bar and seeing just one band, or for the same price. You know what I mean? You're just like, we were talking about it like behind the scenes at the Rico Mambo thing the other day. But they were saying like you can't charge $20 a ticket for a regular show anymore, because that's essentially what people are paying for some of these festivals. You know what I mean? So unless you're gonna incorporate more, like you have to make the show worth the cost. Yeah. And that's why I feel like Coachella, like, not to take away from what they're doing or even put them down in any way, shape, or form, but I wouldn't ever spend that to go there. No, definitely. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go to EDC or anything like that, just because it's that cost of the ticket is it really going to be worth the experience? Yeah, definitely, man. And to me, it's more of like, I understand what they're doing. I understand their business model, and I can't subscribe to it. Definitely. They're taking advantage of these kids who just want to go there just to post up that they're there. And that's not how I enjoy music. Definitely. I'll wait till there's a show at the Novo in LA or something. Pay $20 for a ticket to see like Xavier Wolf, and I'll go do that rather than go to Coachella, because it's the people that are around, the people that I'm going to be surrounded with are not there for the same reasons that I am. And I'm very passionate about music, and that's just something that I don't want to be part of, and no diss to them, dude. Like there's two parts of me. There's the business part of me, and there's the passionate side of me. And I understand the business side, and
I wish you all the best. If you could get $500 for a ticket, shit, go ahead. Without even putting a lineup, and you could get 500, keep doing it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get my money, though, for sure. But speaking of Rico and Mambo, how'd that end up happening?
Well, my OG, D Tragic. Again, he's a very important part of 805 Hip Hop. Actually runs the 805 Hip Hop website. But
Nice.
He's a radio DJ out of Santa Barbara. He broadcasts from the UCSB campus. I don't know what the college is called. Santa Barbara University.
Yeah, UCSB.
But he has been, again, around the hip hop scene for about, I guess, the last 20 years or so. And he's one of the few people that gets it. You know what I mean? That the scene is constantly evolving and changing. So when he sees artists, coming up, he's like, I have to be the guy that helps them get their foot in the door. So again, they started doing these every Friday. They try to spotlight local artists on the Rico Mambo thing. So Tragic was the one who kind of threw my name out there and got us in the door for that. And yeah, I got nothing but love and respect for that dude. He's been looking out for me as soon as I stepped on the scene. And yeah, man.
How was that interview?
It was dope. It was an experience. Again, it was a like childhood dream type stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I want to be on, And yeah, it was just, it was different. You know what I mean? I've been on the radio plenty of times before, but never for the local stations. And I guess I always had kind of a little, thought in the back of my head, like, why don't they, acknowledge what's going on out here? And that's one of the faults of Ventura County is that I don't feel like there's enough platforms that really open the doors for local creatives, and not just in the hip hop world, but in any aspect for the business owners or the painters, or you know what I mean. There's so many people out here doing their thing, but we have a local public access. They don't ever spotlight anything. You don't ever see like the newspapers really acknowledging the good that's going on out here. They have no problem showing you the bad side. Yeah, quick. There's people were terrified to come to Oxnard. Yeah. For whatever reason, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, it's just like any city. You know what I mean? It got your goods and its bads, but yeah, there's a lot of positivity coming out of the 805 right now, and I'm glad that people are starting to acknowledge that. Because I was actually at the Rico and Mambo interview when they brought Anderson .Paak out.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. So we did we were there for the pre-celebration for the Oxnard album. Okay. So I was there in the room as they apologized to him for sleeping on him. Yeah. They're like, all the times that you submitted music or that, and like we just wouldn't give you the time of the day, like we'll be the first ones to apologize for not. Yeah. And that's kind of where the local spotlight came from. But it sucks to have somebody like Anderson .Paak blow up, get signed by Dre and all this. Yeah. Before you start to realize that, there's people out here.
So, yeah. I was actually on that show as well, maybe about like 6 months ago or something like that. So ever since then, I've kept a really good relationship with the guys, and Mambo and I've had that conversation that you're talking about, and a lot of it is out of their control. When you get into the actual music industry, a lot of those songs that get played are the relationships that they have with the labels. Definitely. So it makes it almost impossible for them to put up a new artist, just a local guy on there, we actually had lunch last week and we were talking about this, and I brought it up, like, well, what if there was a local rapper who wanted to get his music on or wanted to get some kind of a spotlight? And there's channels for that. And I feel that there's maybe some of these local guys, they don't understand it as far as a business aspect of it. But for me, I understand it. Hey, if I want to go to a show that I've never been to, like a festival, and I want to have a booth there, I know that I have to pay for that booth to be there. So all I just have to do is figure out the channels of whatever that I have to, who I have to get in contact with, who's throwing that event, and say how much is a booth, take care of that and go. But I don't think a lot of people understand that aspect of it.
Definitely. But again, like, as far as local outlets and stuff go, I'm not necessarily just talking radio, But again, you have local
I totally
newspapers,
understand that.
you
Yeah,
have
definitely.
all these different outlets that just kind of sleep on the good unless it fits an agenda and or
Yeah.
falls into their regularly scheduled program. But I just feel like as a community, especially as crazy as these last couple years have been, like I'm seeing the progression. I've been doing this for at least 10 years now, and we've come a long way. We've opened so many doors and just so many things, and there's a lot of life here, and not just in the hip hop world, but I see like the reggae world is really flourishing with everything they're doing at like Discovery and spots like that.
That's a good point.
There's so many different, and it's just one of the things that got me was like we do the Ventura County Music Awards every year.
Yeah.
So shout out to Tim who does that. He never intentionally, I guess, disrespected the hip hop culture, but me and him have gone into it before over the way that they set that up, and they have a law that they or a rule that they apply to, and I guess it makes sense for bands where they say, yo, at least one person in the band has to be from Ventura County for you to be nominated for an award. Well, they apply that to rappers. Well, most rappers are just rapping over beats, you know what I mean? So as long as the producer, if like say the producer's from Ventura and they're working with an artist from New York, that artist from New York now has the eligibility to be able to win a Ventura County Music Award for Best Hip Hop. And that's not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So me and him had to get into that until they changed it. And, he was more than willing to hear me out and all this, but he was like, nobody's ever really brought that to my attention before. And I was like, yeah, well, you're calling it a Ventura County Music Award, and that it's not an 805 Music Award. You're saying Ventura County Music Award, but artists from Santa Barbara win it.
Yeah.
And, I get it. There's still 805. It's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, like, if you're going to spin it as a Ventura County Music Award, I think you should cater to more Ventura County artists. And there should be no reason that, artists like, again, I know Mark Ford is one, but I'll just use him as an example, that people like Mark Ford is getting slept on because, some artist from LA worked with a Ventura producer. Like, so again, like, it's a lot of, I guess, the way you approach these situations. You can't just go in and be like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these people are finally starting to come around and really like acknowledge this kind of stuff and being like, yeah, we're really sleeping on, the local waters, man. There's a lot of people coming up. And again, Anderson .Paak, like, that was the game changer for everybody. Everybody's like, wow, like, we didn't even really. And, he's not the only one to come up out of the 805. You have Kyle and, like Baby Boogaloo's killing it right now. And just all these different people are like coming up. But when Anderson .Paak popped off was when everyone's like, all right, we're tripping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We really need to start paying attention because there's bands and people from Ventura County that I see that are going to be huge. Like I think Herbal Roots is one of the next up. You know what I mean? And just all these local entities that are just coming up. And yeah, so.
I feel you, man. My intention wasn't to highlight people locally because when I first started the podcast, I wasn't aware of it, but the more I'm getting introduced to people that are doing things in the community, we've had boxers on here, we had Hollow on here. We had some guys that just have local businesses here, and it's crazy, man. The following that we have locally, it's really big. And every time that we have a local person on, you can tell the streams are a lot higher. So I see that as us being able to provide that kind of outlet to these local businesses, local artists, or just people on their grind. And I'm looking to take that forward for sure.
Yeah, I again, it's not, I don't know how to say it. I just think, like, there's a lot of platforms out here and just people in general that kind of deserve their praise. Like,
yeah.
Are you familiar with, like, the Lab 805?
Yeah. I used to fuck with them shit since, like, 2009.
Yeah, so, again, I think that's around the time that I met them, like 2010 maybe. But they have always been, like, one of our main backing. Like, they're like a source of inspiration for us,
Yeah.
A lot of the things we've done, we wouldn't have been able to do without the help of Leo and Cap and everyone over there. Again, D Tragic's another one. The homies from ASR, they were throwing shows in the 805 for 20 years plus before we came around. So with their guidance and their help, and you know what I mean, it's not as cliquish as it seems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's people out here willing to help each other. Simply because I don't feel like they're getting the push from like some of these platforms. I don't feel like if the newspapers and stuff like that were willing to highlight people like this, I don't feel like people would really need each other. But they're like, okay, since we're not getting that help, all we really have is us. And it just created a whole new little circle of things. Like,
Yeah.
And it's dope. I love it. I love the fact that, you know, people are actually collaborating now. And
Hell yeah, man. I'm excited for it, dude. And if there's anybody listening right now, local guys, please look us up, Downtime with Downstar.
Yeah.
We want to work with a lot of people out here, you know. I know this platform isn't huge, but it's very diverse. We have a lot of listeners from all over the world that their focus isn't really the 805 or music or whatever's going on here. So you can highlight your whatever you got going on to a bigger platform, you know. So anybody listening, and if there's anybody that you would ever recommend that we have on, please do let me know. Guys that we want to focus on is people that are just on their grind, you know, whatever it is. As long as every day you wake up with a goal in mind that today I'm gonna accomplish this, those are the kind of people that I'm looking forward to talking to. For sure.
That's beautiful, man.
Hell yeah, man. Just do my part, you know, because when I was coming up, shit, I didn't have nobody, and not anybody locally. I didn't have anybody at all. You know, I didn't have no OGs, nobody looking out for me saying, hey, maybe maneuver this way, maybe do this, do that. I had to figure that all on my own.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of benefit to that, but I could have had that same information if somebody would have just put me on.
Definitely.
You know, so if I can be that for somebody else, at least just give them an outlet to hear their story and to see what they're going through, you know, and then put that out there. Hopefully I can help them out in some way.
Yeah.
So that's my idea with it. Now you mentioned Anderson .Paak. Do you have any relationship with him?
No, I wouldn't say like a personal relationship, but again, we did link with his management for potential stuff in the future. It's just a matter of the right footsteps to make happen, you know what I mean? But again, that homie, he didn't even make his start in the 805, you know what I mean? He was
in LA, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard his story.
No.
But he was like homeless in LA, and he ended up linking with Dumbfounded from Project Blowed, which is a hip hop outlet from LA.
Okay.
And he was coming to Project Blowed when he was still going by like Breezy Lovejoy and stuff like that, and he was doing shows out that way.
Yeah.
So again, I always like really felt like I resonated with him because that's a similar thing that I had to go through at some point, you know, where you're like, you wish you had that hometown love, but it's just, you know. So it's cool to see where he's at, and that he's actually giving back to the county. I know he was like trying to save the pack for a while, and just the whole carnival thing, you know what I mean? Like, obviously he's a, you know, successful artist and bouncing around. He's probably way too busy to come back to Oxnard anytime he wants, but the fact that he's actually making it a point to do so is amazing. Like, again, there's a lot of people who just came out of the 805. Like, are you familiar with like Baby Boogaloo?
No.
That's Wild Child's son, you know, Wild Child from Lupac. He's on the show Blackish right now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's from Oxnard.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a break dancer when he was, I'd say, like 5 years old, you know.
Sick.
So he was on like Ellen and all those shows, and you know what I mean. His dad's from Lupac, you know what I mean. Like, so it's cool to see like people like that coming up and just bringing more of a spotlight to the county, because there's so much going on out here that just, again, it's not that it's getting slept on, it's just people don't know about it. There's not enough outlets to kind of, you know, bring it to your attention. So that's one of the things we try to do with these shows and stuff, is incorporate as much as we possibly can. So when you come, you think, oh, I'm coming here to see, you know, this person rap, and then you're like, wow, these are all clothing brands from the county. These are all painters and from the county, and you guys, it's a intimate environment to where you can link up with them and help better your brand, or help better, you know, your music or your art or whatever it is you're trying to do. And I think that's the beauty of not just what we do, but what, you know, all these different platforms are trying to do now. They understand, like, if we're all in this together, you know, there's no such thing as almost made it. You know what I mean? So we're right here all grinding it out together. Like, no matter if you have 100 fans or 200, you know, 2,000, 2 million, whatever.
Yeah.
It's dope that people are acknowledging it in this light. And the collaboration factor is really there now. It's not like the 90s when nobody wanted to work with each other. Everyone had an ego. It was just like, well, leave me alone. Don't talk to me unless, you know somebody who knows somebody. It's tight to see, though.
That's good, man. What about Kyle?
Kyle's killing it. But again, I don't really pay attention to what he's doing enough to know what if he's coming back to the county and bringing anything back to the county. But I did see, like, he had like a movie on Netflix recently. So I make sure to support when I do see, but I would be lying if I said that I'm really up on his stuff enough to know what he's doing at all times, you know?
So since seeing the growth of Anderson .Paak and Kyle coming out of here at 805, who do you see as somebody being on their way up there?
In the hip hop world or just in general?
Just in general.
I see like Herbal Roots. They're a really dope reggae band. I see them coming up and they're doing their thing.
Okay.
Again, the Mark Fords, whether it's from rapping, his production, his video work, something, I see him like he's got something going for him. Mike Bless is killing it.
He's an older guy, right?
Yeah.
I think he used to rap with my cousin back in the day, dude. My cousin out of Wainimi High. There was like the little rap crews out of over there, and my cousin Prep, he was telling me about him. So he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I gotta look into him.
Enzom is another one. Slump Boys are already on their way. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I've been wanting to connect with them to get them on the pod. I don't know if we have enough mics.
Well, we had them out at our last event, and they're really dope.
They have a dope energy, man.
And they're Samoan.
Yeah.
So it's another outlet for the Samoan community.
Hell yeah.
It's just like really dope. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Slum Boys, man. I want to get you guys on here. Hit me up.
Yeah. You definitely got to tap in with them. They killing it right now. But as far as coming out the county, I think Brian Mikasa, he's like a singer artist. He just plays every instrument and stuff, but I always tell him like that dude's gonna be the next Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Like he's just so well rounded. It's crazy. And he started messing with like some kind of like mumble rap, like trappy stuff as well. But he's like, I don't know what you like, indie rock. I don't know what genre you would really throw him in, but he's very well rounded, and there's just potential all around, man. And it's a matter of some people just linking with the right person. You know what I mean? Like, there's some artists that I feel like you're ready. You need to run into the right person. And I know that sounds like weird to say, like just waiting around on opportunities. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need to go out and meet the right person. Yeah. Because you know what I mean? There's been so many people that I've met over the years that have just changed my life forever. They're just a regular conversation.
Hell yeah.
Next thing you know, 3-4 years later, here we are, like just still working together and just growing. And
you never know, man. You never know when that's gonna happen. I always say plant as many seeds as possible.
Oh, definitely.
You know, I've really with doing my business, I've really known the value of networking. You know, and genuine networking, not networking trying to get something from somebody, but just putting out your tools and say, hey, yo, this is what I got. If you can fuck with me in the future, you know, let's talk. And likewise, you know, and then just build those relationships. And what I feel as well is you give back before you even ask for anything. Oh, yeah. That goes such a long way. Oh, you know, anytime I see somebody that I can help out, whether they're, you know, promoting a show or, you know, coming out with a new line of clothing or whatever, you know, I'll do my best to get eyes over that way, because I know one day that I'm going to need help with something, and hopefully the favor is returned not by them, but just by the universe, you know? That's
a beautiful way to look at things.
And you mentioned earlier about ego. I think that's one thing really with me as well that helped me grow is when I was able to get my ego on check and, you know, really humble myself, and just be open to learn and experience new things, and not act like you know it all.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? I'm like, just to kind of walk through the timeline a little bit. When I started like doing the music thing, it kind of stemmed from like battle rap, which is all ego.
Yeah.
That's all it is ego. And yeah, so from battle rap moving on to music, where there's a little less ego, but it's still there.
Yeah.
To just my travels leaving California. Now I'm completely new face in new cities. You know, all that work you put in prior to, your resume is just, nobody's even asking about it. They're like, well, what are you doing now? So coming back to California after like years of just being gone, you know what I mean? It was like restarting over again and stuff. And I feel like it's a constant cycle of like your ego getting trimmed out of the equation.
Yeah.
You know, you hear so many no's, and you so many just having to start over so many different times that, you know what I mean? Like, if you can learn to just drop the ego from the jump, you're already ahead of the game. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
But
it took me a lot to learn, and it's lessons that I didn't have to learn. I wish somebody would have put me on, you know, but it's just, especially being out here from the 805, you're born with an ego. You're born with a chip on your shoulder, and when somebody looks at you wrong, you're just ready to go. For what reason? You know, there's not really any reason to it. You know, it's just it was something that was in my DNA, man, and I really had to break it. And it's a struggle that I deal with every day. But when I realized that it was a struggle, when I realized it was something an opportunity that I had, that was like such a blessing, man, because that got me in so much trouble, and it made me undesirable to work with, to network with. Nobody wants to work with somebody like that. Exactly. You know, so if I meet somebody right now and it's apparent to me that they have like an ego, I'm just gonna keep an eye on them and just wait till they make that transition, and hopefully they do it sooner than later.
And I'll be honest, like, there's artists that I just won't work with for the ego factor. It's like I tell like the locals, like, yo, there's been times when I've been put in a compromising situation with you know, like some household names. I won't name drop, but that, like, I almost wanted to just swing on. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, and this is somebody I grew up listening to. Like, what makes you think like you're, you know what I mean? So if you can learn to drop that ego from the gate, like, everything else is just kind of a cakewalk. You know what I mean? As far as networking and just building with new people, be that energy. You know what I mean? Like I said, that could be your it when we were talking about like the marketing factor. Like, you have something about you. There's some people that I'll work with, you know, 7 days a week, just because, yo, you're such a nice person, and I can actually tolerate being around you that much. You know what I mean? And it's I don't know. I think everybody just gravitates towards the person that doesn't, you know, talk to them in a condescending manner or anything. Definitely. You know what I mean? So
I've been up and I've been down so many times that I understand that when we're at an up, that you appreciate those times and you live in those moments, but you know that it's not a solid state that you're gonna be in. And I've had my ego checked so many times, you know, when I think I'm at such a top in this automotive community and we're doing so much and we're the favorite brand and things like that, it's around the corner that something's gonna happen. And if you're just relying on that moment, you have a hot song right now, if you're the man right now, that's cool, but you're not always gonna be the man, you know. And there's very few people that just keep it going, and they just keep winning and winning and winning. And most of that has to do with how they deal with situations, how they deal with that win.
A good example of somebody who like kind of inspires me is Tumex. Tumex, you know, his history, he is a pioneer of hip hop in California. You know, the whole Project Blowed, like, if you get a chance to watch the Good Life documentary, it'll break it all down for you. It'll show you where Bone Thugs came to get their style, where, you know what I mean?
I've heard about that.
Yeah, and Tumex, again, he's easy to work with every time. He don't have an ego. His booking numbers are, you know, extremely affordable. And he's just was able to survive off this music regardless of the changes of, you know, in music, you know what I mean? It's hard for people who were popping in the early 90s to stay relevant now.
Yeah.
And I won't, again, throw names out there, but like I'll see it on social media sometimes where it's like somebody that I grew up listening to has a GoFundMe link up, and he's like, I just need money for a haircut, and I need to get a shirt, and it breaks my heart. And I'm like, yo, the reason that you fell off, one was you had that ego about like, yo, at one point I'm charging blah 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 per show, I'm gonna keep doing that. And it's like your value changes. Yeah, you know what I mean? You don't want to take these opportunities that you feel are beneath you, but you know, and again, your value changes. These are things that you're gonna have to do. Like for every up, like there's 10 steps down eventually, you know. So you need to like factor that in. And again, I think Tumex did very well at doing that. And that's somebody that I've always looked at like, yo, man, he's a very smart dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's smart, he's humble, he's just, it's cool that you can walk up to Tumex at any point, anytime, no matter where you see him, and he'll sit down and chop it up with you, and you can have that. And it's like, it's amazing, man. Like, I think if everybody thought the way that guy thought as far as the creative world goes, it would be a better world in general. You know what I mean? Like, that's super dope of him to acknowledge that.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And it's, most of it is just getting out of your own way. A lot of people don't understand that your personal thoughts and the way you deal with things and how you treat people is really going to determine how far you do go in life. Because when you shit on that person, when you're on the come up, you're going to see that same person when you're on the come down. And if that person's on the come up at that same time, it's on them to decide how they're going to handle that situation. You know, it's going to show them if they have any, sympathy for you, or if they, I don't know, man, it's just a rough time, you know?
A funny one is, again, like, my company is the Gutted Cigar. A lot of people see the logo and they don't realize who the face behind the logo is, right? So there'll be times that artists will come up to shows and I'll go up to introduce myself and they'll straight up bump my shoulder, like kind of disrespect me in a sense. And I don't ever say nothing. I'm just like, all right, whatever. And then I'll let them figure it out on their own. And then they're like, oh, you're the guy that... Yeah. And like, it's hilarious to me because I'm like, yo, this is how you treat regular people. Yeah. If you didn't know I was who I was. Like, yeah. This is how you would treat me. And... again, I think it's an eye-opener for them as well. They're like, I don't want to burn a bridge, you know, that's the show guy. That's the, you know what I mean? Like, can't. So, yeah, you have to walk into a room and act like everybody's somebody. You know, everybody is there for a reason and just, so the ego, that there's no place for it in the world in general, but it's here. And I hope some people will, like, figure that out before it's too late for them because, you know, one burned bridge can just kill it all for you know what I mean? Yeah,
and you never know where that bridge is going to lead. Every important relationship I have in my life, I can actually pinpoint where that relationship started at. And if I didn't make that connection, if I was an asshole, if I was having a bad day at that time, there's no telling what wouldn't have happened because of that interaction, you know, because all those roads. Now that road branched off to so many other lanes, and then those lanes branch to something else, and you cut that whole thing off because of one bad interaction. It's not going to help your growth at all.
And I'll be real, like, maybe it's a bitter way of thinking, but there's some people who have just rubbed me the wrong way that I'm like, yo, until you prove to me otherwise, like, I just don't want to be in the same room as you. You know what I mean? And so I'm one of the most understanding people you'll probably ever meet. So when I think that way, like, you know what I mean? There's an issue there. You know what I mean? So
you got to protect your energy, man.
Yeah. So
Gutted Cigar, what is it today, and how many people do you have involved in it?
I'd say there's about 10 people involved as far as the crew goes.
Nice.
But again, it's more so, I think of it as a big art project, man. Like, just a big project. So again, like the event management, the talent management, things like that. Our focus is to really just apply the pressure to the outlets that I feel like, not outlets, but apply that pressure to the things that we feel can be better. You know, again, we use these shows. A lot of people don't know that we take a lot of the proceeds from shows and buy school supplies for the schools out here.
Oh,
and
nice.
do stuff like that. And I feel like, again, why not use what it is we're doing to, I guess, be the change?
Yeah.
Again, people ask me this question all the time, and I don't know how to answer it. So it's just, we're out here having fun, showing people that they can have fun, but at the same time, taking what it is you have and using it to better the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Like, again, I don't really don't know how to word it. It's just, it's an energy all on its own. You know what I mean? And it's keeping me happy.
That's all that matters,
Yeah,
man. You know, happiness should be everybody's goal in life, and it's achieved through different ways, and you just got to figure out what makes you happy. And just go full forward towards that.
And again, like the show stuff leads to something else, and it all just kind of opens up. And I've met so many people. Like, most of my contacts that I've met over the last 10 years have been made probably within the last 4.
Nice.
So again, all that time that I spent trying to figure it out and make it, like, you know, realize that you've already made it. This is the stuff that you were dreaming about doing.
Yeah.
You may not be at the caliber that you thought you were going to be at, or, you know what I mean? But this is exactly what you're doing. So as a rapper, when you're like, you had that thought, I want to be a rapper, I'm going to go buy a microphone, I'm going to go get my little home studio going. You are now a rapper.
Yeah.
You now have everything that you need to push this career of yours. These people that you look at in such high regard, like, these are my, you know what I mean? These are the people that I need to look up to, are actually your peers. And you don't realize that until you're in an environment where you can actually sit down and think about it. Like, again, it's weird to get some of the phone calls that I get these days, where I'm just like, how do you know who I am? You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy to me. Like, I think that's the best part of what I do, is that the phone calls. The phone calls that I get sometimes, I'm just like, you ever just been, you know, 6, 7 in the morning, you wake up and you just look at your phone, and it's a text message from somebody that you grew up listening to, and you're like, one, how did you get my number? But like, two, like, it's just it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? Man. So everybody has ideas that they want to bring to life, and I feel like that is our importance, is helping them do that. Because again, it's so frustrating as a younger, you know, person with a dream, when you're just like, one day I want to have a clothing line, but I don't know where to go to get this stuff made.
Yeah.
Like, how do I do this? How do I go about, you know what I mean, so I think our main importance is to pinpoint the people in the community who need that extra push. And I know we all need that extra push, but there's certain people, and again, like, people like Mark Ford, for example. Homie has a lot going for him, and he's gonna make it. You know what I mean? There's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna make it, but at the same time, there's certain things that we can help him out with.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And that building that relationship to where you know who to call when, you know, you need certain things. It's just it's an important contact in your phone. Yeah. And it may not be, you know, the most called number in your phone, but sometimes, like, that one number, if you scroll through your contacts in your phone right now, you're gonna see one person in there, and you're gonna be like, I should probably give that fool a call. Yeah. You know, and next thing you know, you guys have a project on your hands. And it's just, I don't know. It's beautiful, man.
Hell yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and a lot of experimenting, and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. And again, even the failures, like when you have a little setback, or you don't have a project that goes 1,000% through, so it stems into something else. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Again, I don't really know how to answer this question, but it's just have fun with it. That'd be my advice. If I was trying to spin this into advice, I'd say just have fun with it, be humble, and don't rule anybody out, because you never know, that one contact in your phone could change your life forever.
Yeah. So since you're out wanting to help people get to the next level, what is some help that you need, or a contact that you're looking for that maybe you see as an opportunity with your camp?
I I mean, that question changes weekly. Because, again, when we take on projects for shows and stuff, we always have to reach out for certain things. You know what I mean? Whether that's new types of talent. I know we're like this year we're trying to branch out of hip hop a little more and do more, rock events and stuff like that. Because we've also seen how much help and resources we've gathered just from hip hop. So when you think about all these other genres and subcultures and things going on in the creative arts world, there's different stuff that you're gonna pick up from each. So one of my favorites is when I just get those contacts for venues.
Got you.
Because I love to just build these amazing relationships with these venues to where, when we set up these tours and things like that, we know where to go. We have venues, we have sound teams in different areas, we have our list of contacts that's just gradually growing every time we go to these different cities and stuff. So I love when people reach out with venue contacts and they're just like, yo, I got you a spot here, I got you a spot there, I got you. And then it's on you to not only build that relationship or like a respectable relationship with this venue, but you're also going off somebody else's word, so you have to make them look good. They're the ones who recommended you. You know what I mean? So you can't just make them look bad by coming up short on your end. So I love that. I just love that these days it's more so that we don't really reach out and say what it is we need help with. It's more people going, hey, I came to your show and I feel like this would be a dope addition. And we pay attention to what the people want, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's them, we couldn't throw a show with just us there,
Yeah.
So when people throw their suggestions out there and just, hey, I know so-and-so and this person does this and that, like, it's a very dope energy to just be able to incorporate it all.
Definitely, man. I don't know if you spoke with Rico when you were at the station, but he actually has his own side business as well, where he does like the stages for performances. He'll do the stage and then like the lights and all that stuff. Maybe that'll be somebody that you could work with in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Well, see, that was the beauty of linking with the ASR, is that that's what they do. So again, like when we started throwing shows, we had to experiment with a couple different DJs and sound techs and stuff who would just give you a headache. You know what I mean? When we linked with them, like, again, they have experience in all this. So they definitely helped us up our game.
Nice.
And I know for sure there's going to be somebody out there that's going to be able to help them up their game as well, and so on and so forth. So we always have our ear open and hear people out. Because, again, there's some people that just, volunteered their help one time, and it just grew into a partnership. You know what I mean? It was like, you just like, hey, maybe you guys might like this. I'll do it for free the first time. And and now, years later, you're like, that's, you know what I mean?
That's how you get them hooked, dude. Blue Magic. First one's free, bro. Next one, you're hooked. So what do you got going on in the near future? You got any shows, events, anything like that?
We have, again, we're kicking off 2020 with the 2 free shows, Friday and Saturday, January 24th and 25th. We have Mike Bless's listening party for his new album, and then we have the Variety Pack 805 event, which is essentially our way of just giving back to the community a little bit. Free shows, a lot of giveaways, stuff like that. Kind of keeping things a little mellow before we hit the road, because we're about to hit the road in March for the Agua Fresca tour, which is an all-female showcase, statewide, all-female Cali-wide state showcase. I hope I worded that right. But so the end goal is, like, we did the Daughters of the Culture, I think it was last year, the year before, which was an all-female festival, just showcasing all-female everything from the artists, the painters, the performances, everything. But we're doing that same thing, but we're gonna split it up and go from San Diego, Ontario, LA, Fresno, Oxnard, San Jose, and Oakland.
Oh yeah.
And so each show would be different. There's no artist that's just coming along for the tour with us, but we're trying to showcase these dope women in each city. You know what I mean? So we're focused on the local talent, and just yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful thing. Like I said, I love working with the females because they're very slept on in the creative arts world. I hear a lot of their horror stories when we work with them. So we like to create like a comfortable environment to where they don't have to worry about what a hidden agenda or anything like that. You know what I mean? They deal with so much in this game, and again, we work with a lot of dope females who build that comfortability factor for them. You know what I mean? So they're not just like, oh, it's a bunch of dudes trying to. You know what I mean? It's we like to incorporate the both worlds. You know what I mean, male and female, and kind of bridge them, man. Because people might not think so, but you know, in hip hop, which is it can be a very misogynistic world at times. You know what I mean? It's important that we do our part to just bridge that gap and eliminate some of the bullshit that they have to go through. You know what I mean? So that's a big one for us. I love hitting the road and doing these tours and stuff, and it's dope that we're able to actually showcase these women out here because, again, they're slept on, man.
Yeah.
They're super slept on. If they're not a Cardi B or a Beyonce, you know, they're not getting talked about, and that's not right. I feel like females don't have a very long lifespan in music. If you notice, like, there's only one Cardi B at a time. You know what I mean? And with so many dope women on the come up right now, I feel like that's gradually going to change. But in order to do that, it's important that we all kind of help people put their guard down and really start acknowledging it, man. Like, it's very dope.
I love it, man. That's dope, bro. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
What's a big goal that you have for 2020?
For 2020 is honestly just getting these new ventures going. I want to take some time to put some time into these artists and help them branch out. Again, we partnered up with the Happiness of Pursuit Festival, so we're getting more experience in the festival settings. But I'd say for 2020 is honestly just kind of perfecting some of our ventures that we've been working with and dabbling with, and getting more on a professional basis of things, because we're professional to an extent, but at the same time we don't like to overdo the professionalism, because I feel like that it changes the dynamic of working with somebody. Like, I like the fact that you can come in and have a business meeting with me and smoke a blunt while you're there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you don't feel as tense, and it's just like, okay, I know that I could joke around with you. I know I could do this, but at the same time, I know you're going to get work done. Yeah. I'm not just sitting here like, oh, I'm wasting my time with, you know what I mean? So, I really want to put time into perfecting some of these crafts and helping some of our locals get out of the 805. Because, again, we did it last year with the Thought Fest stuff. We were able to get like Mark Ford on like his first big festival. We brought like Mike Bless out and Enzom, and we're trying to help them get to these bigger stages because they're ready. You know what I mean? But again, until you know the right people, it's kind of hard to get there. And the beauty of what we do is like we are able to work with these people on a different note. So we build relationships with them and just cash in favors for other people. So it's cool to be able to do that. So I want to do a lot more of that. And just helping these artists out. And then the clothing stuff too. We have a lot of new ideas for the clothing, and really getting the brand going, because at this point I think we have like shirts and one shirt design, one sweater design. So we're trying to get more established as a brand on the clothing side of things. But it's mainly just tightening up some screws and bolts. You know what I mean? Dial
it all in, man.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. I love the story, man. And I look forward to seeing your growth in the future. So before we get out of here, where can people find you at?
All social medias at The Gutted Cigar or at Jeffy Obvious.
Jeffy O, thank you, bro. I appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate it.
Anybody out there, any local talents, please shoot us a DM. I'm looking to grow our network locally and see who are the movers and shakers out here. I know there's a lot, and I look forward to hopefully highlighting some of them in the near future.
Oh yeah, man. I'll be sure to send you my Rolodex. You know what I mean? So,
shoot them my way, bro.
definitely.
Guys, make sure you guys check out Jeffy O for sure, and Gutted Cigar. And thank you for listening, man. This is Downtime with Downstar, episode 137. We out. Peace.
Peace.